Hello, my name is Anthony Keller, and I'm that deacon on YouTube. I'm speaking to you today from what is called the clubhouse, otherwise known as the Altar Guild Room. And I'd like to say that I had a wonderful month vacation. Thank you very much for allowing me to take that month off. It gave me a chance to relax and to refresh myself and to renew myself for the work that I do throughout the year. I stayed at home for part of it, and I worked on a new Easter anthem, which we hope to premiere next Easter morning. I also got a chance to visit Universal Studios and check out the new Harry Potter exhibit. And then my partner and I were up to Central California and spent a few days in Cambria, a place that I like to visit now these past 4 years. But we start our new season of that Deacon on YouTube. And today, this video, I'm going to share a conversation I had with a brand new deacon, Robert Sammis, who was ordained at our pro-cathedral this past June. And though I could talk about his formation or what he's doing now, he spends his time as a chaplain at a local hospital in Los Angeles, Good Samaritan Hospital. I wanted to talk about the Ordination Experience because it's something that maybe people have heard of. I mean, you hear that I was ordained on this and this date, or you hear that this person was ordained by that bishop on a certain time and date. I haven't seen much discussion about the change that takes place when a bishop or a person in authority ordains a minister. What happens to you when hands are laid upon you? How you reflect upon that, what it may mean now and in the future. So we sat down in our library here at St. George's and we had a conversation all about what it's like to go through the ordination experience. Without further ado, let's take you to that conversation. I'm here today talking with Robert Sammis, who is a newly minted deacon as of June 4th. I was there at the ordination, supporting one of our new deacons in the diocese. And I'd like to talk to him a little bit about what it's like to be ordained. Now, you were ordained differently than other deacons, and why don't you share with us what it was?
So, typically deacons will be ordained at their home parish.
Right.
And it's usually one deacon, or if there's several deacons, it's done at the cathedral center. But this time, I'm the only deacon that was up at that time, and it was decided that they would try doing my ordination with the 5 other individuals being ordained to the transitional deacon who are on their way, diaconate, on their way to the priesthood. Mm-hmm. And at first I wasn't sure about it.
Yeah.
Because was it going to diminish the special call to the vocational diaconate? I wanted it to be at my home parish to celebrate with people who have raised and supported me. But I came around even before the ordination that no, this was something really good to be done. Mm-hmm. It's about community. After the ordination, it was the best decision made. And I'm hoping, quite honestly, that this will become more of the norm than the exception.
Oh, you prefer that over the individual having that experience of the ordination taking place in a home parish?
For a lot of reasons. One, the 5 other individuals, except for one of them who were being ordained, I knew quite well. Mm-hmm. And so it was a wonderful time for us to spend in retreat together, to bond together, to understand our concerns, our visions, what ordination was turning out to be for each of us. And that retreat leading up to the actual ordination was incredible. And it really formed for me the importance of this is something that we're collectively going to do. Because if we truly believe that the diaconate, the vocational diaconate, is an equal order, then why should we separate ourselves out?
Now, the experience of ordination, because I just want to hit on that, it is something that you never forget, but in my case, barely remember.
Right.
And I wondered if that was the same
No,
for you.
I think that's really a good way. It definitely leaves this impression in your soul.
Yeah.
But if you asked me for a minute-by-minute blow of what happened, I don't think I could tell you, except for that's how pictures help. Right?
Yeah.
So a lot of it was a blur right now, but there were some quite meaningful moments.
So what were the meaningful moments?
You know, most of what happened at the ordination is kind of a blur still in my mind, as we talked about. But the moment that really still stands out in my mind and was the most impactful was when we were all laying prostrate on the floor. I can't tell you at all what hymn was being played and sung, but in that moment, it was complete quiet. I couldn't hear anything beyond my own breath, and I felt as if I was in the presence of God, just God and myself. The 600 people who were in that church were non-existent for that moment. And it was just a wonderful opportunity to be able to sit there in quietness and just feel the presence of the Spirit, to feel what was happening in the moment of that ordination.
Yeah.
And then the other incredible moment for me was more personal. I was given the privilege of setting the table for Eucharist, and then as I was holding the chalice to deliver the wine to those coming to my station, my son came forward and took communion from me. And that was really special because I don't believe he's taken communion since he was baptized in the Armenian church. And when he came to me and I gave him the cup and said, you know, this is the blood of Christ, the cup of salvation, and I saw in his eyes just this widening of his eyes looking at me like, wow, this is really special. And then afterwards, after the ordination, he came up to me and gave me a really big hug, and he said, Dad, I don't know what happened, but when I was taking communion and you were giving me the wine, it was an incredible feeling that came over me. And I just kind of smiled and looked at him and I said, that's the Holy Spirit. But yeah, I mean, I think your original point is that it has this impact deep in our souls.
Yeah.
But whether it's something to be remembered as a performance is probably a good thing it's not remembered that way.
I remember just the power of that experience. I remember, as you do, lying prostrate, my time with God. I remember the words of mine was Bishop Talton.
Right.
And he has big hands also, and I remember him just like engulfing my head. And then I just remember clearly the tone of his voice saying, make him a deacon in your church.
Yeah.
I remember that very distinctly. And I know if you want to get theological and all academic, you know, there is, they say, an ontological change.
Right.
That's a fancy word, but I do feel I was changed, but I can't explain how.
Yeah. No, I get that now.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone else can really get it.
Yeah. I know for my family, and most of my family, bless their heart, are not well-churched. My mom is lifelong Episcopalian. We were all raised Episcopalian.
Right.
But most of us don't go to church regularly. But every one of them had an experience there.
Yeah.
And it was beyond just, oh, my brother Robert or my cousin Robert or my good friend Robert is being ordained. There was something mystical in the moment, something spiritual in the moment that captured them as well. I had a long conversation with my cousin afterwards, and she said to me, I can't tell you how deeply emotional I felt and I felt like there was something beyond me taking control. And so that's where I kind of came down that being ordained as part of this larger group really emphasized the importance of community and relationship in being a deacon. Because you're not just ordained at St. Mark's, Glendale, or into that parish. You're not just ordained into your family. You're ordained into the church.
Into the church. Yeah.
Not just our diocese, but the whole church.
The church, the entire church.
And, you know, that ordination at St. John's represented the church as well as we could.
Yeah. I remember after my ordination, when someone would say reverend or deacon, I would turn around at first, wondering who they were talking to. And then I realized it was me.
Well, it was like
that happened to you. Okay.
When I became an adult, people called me Mr. Sammis. I looked for my dad. Right? And now then they say deacon or reverend, I'm going, who are they talking about? But I have to say, the silliest thing is I still have a hard time taking my collar off.
Oh, yeah.
So I always tell my wife, I said, you know, because I can't wear it at work because I have a secular job. But I said, on Sundays, I'm not taking it off. If I wear it from the time I go to church to the time I go to bed. Maybe that might change, but that's a little silliness.
Things will change. Well, thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you.
Great luck with your ministry, and I'm sure we'll see each other because we partner with Laundry Love every month.
Absolutely. And we're just down the street from each other.
We're just down the street, so thank you very much. Thank you very much for viewing this month, and until I see you again, may God bless you in what you do, how you live, and how you treat others. Bye-bye.